Hello people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. Guys, I hope you are well. This one I sat and thought about only yesterday. And it caused me to sit and think about what we often say to people in a manner that often, I think at least, we don't necessarily think about what we say. And the reason I say that is because we do not necessarily understand the circumstances that the other person is in. And oftentimes when we start saying things sort of off the cuff, so to speak, we end up looking maybe a bit foolish because we speak from only that narrow perspective of what we see, what we think, and sometimes we get it completely wrong. It's just one of those things. So it was with that in mind that I sat and thought about this particular saying, and once I say it, you guys will go, yeah, I say this a lot, or I've heard it a lot, and it is this saying. But they know better. Or they should know better. Or words to that effect. Here's my thought, my friend. In a world of information overload, we've got libraries, we've got TV, we've got the internet, social media. We've got such a vast array of available information that really there's no excuse for not necessarily knowing better. Here's the thing. Just because I know better, just because I've done my research to get to that place where I can say I know better. Or would it be more accurate to say I know different? Because better is subjective to the position where you and the other person is standing. I have said before, and I think I've even made a video on it, when you draw a 6 or a 9, an M or a W, and you look at it from opposing sides, we can argue the toss by saying, I see a 6. No, you're wrong. I see a 9. Or an M. No, you're wrong. I see a W. So it's your personal position in life that often determines how we filter this information in order to determine how we're going to react or not react, as the matter might be. But we can't escape this thing called knowing better. I would suggest we say knowing different, because we see things different. My viewpoint and your viewpoint is not necessarily better than the other person's. It is simply different. Here's what I want to bring home in this video is just because, let's go by what the saying says, just because I know better doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to act better. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to speak better. All that information might not necessarily mean I'm going to think better. behave better, respond better. My intentions might not be any better either. And oftentimes I think, well, these were my thoughts yesterday, we are quick to say they should know better. But they know better. Here's my point. Doing, speaking, behaving, acting better is a matter of choice, not a matter of knowledge or intellect or even, dare I say, common sense. It is, what do you do with this know bit? They should know better. That knowledge, that information that we have. What we choose to do, and this is the thing, what we choose to do with that knowledge determines what we're going to say about them that should know better. Or for them who maybe knows better. So it's very simple, really. But so few people miss it. And my hope is that you would get it. It's very easy to say, they should, you should, they do. Yeah, they might. But what is the circumstances? What is the situation? What's going on in that person's world for them to choose not to act or behave or speak or think or have the intention of this better thing that we're talking about here? What is the solution? Maybe we need to stop criticizing from our point of view. Maybe we should stop correcting the other person's world when we are so very comfortable in our little world. Who knows? Maybe it's time for people to ask the question, were you aware? What was the reasons? What's going on in your world for you to choose whatever? You see, it is what I choose to do, what I choose to say, what I choose to use as a means to justify my behavior, what I choose to use to develop my intentions, and these kind of things really speaks of that individual and their freedom to choose. I wonder what we would choose if we were in that individual's shoes or their world. There's a battle more than likely going on in their world that is unknown to the rest of the world. Sometimes people do not say, I'm struggling, I'm battling, I'm fighting a war out here, because maybe it is a very private thing and they choose to only allow a very small select few know what's actually going on. Maybe. So what is my point in this video? My point in this video is simply this. Find out before you speak out. particularly when it comes to that particular saying that I think is not very helpful at all. You should know better, or they know better. It might be better to say they know different. That might be a little bit more accurate. But again, I wouldn't know. So I'm going to encourage you today simply by saying, bear in mind that your world and the other person's world are maybe in two different galaxies. And they or you have to choose what you do with that information that is so readily available. And on the basis of that, people, generally speaking, will do the best that they think at the time. Because as you know as well as I do, that what's accurate and appropriate today might not necessarily be accurate and appropriate next week. Because the world is revolving so quick that information changes all the time. New discoveries are made, and scientific explorations and the medical world and information and so on and so forth expands at a rapid pace of knots. So whilst we think that what we're saying is accurate, and we believe that it's accurate, and we intend and we speak in good faith that it is accurate, it might not necessarily be accurate from the other person's point of view. And all I'm saying is just be careful with that one saying. You should know better. You do know better. Why do they do that? They know better. Remember, how we choose is a freedom. How we behave is a freedom. How we speak is a freedom. How we think is a freedom. And it doesn't matter about knowledge necessarily. I do believe that sometimes knowledge helps us make those decisions without a doubt. But sometimes you might have an off day, so to speak, and your reasoning, decision-making process is not on point, and you might miss it. And then you get told that you know better by someone who maybe knows even less than you. It's a cruel world. So all I want to say to you today is be mindful that better is not necessarily correct when we start throwing and hurling judgments at other people. It might be better to say different, because that's more accurate, at least from my point of view. I hope this little video has encouraged you. I hope it's helped you. I hope it's loosened your thinking up a little bit, particularly regarding this one saying. If it has, or your thoughts, in the comments box, please. And at this point, I'm going to ask you just to do all the YouTube admin. The like, share, subscribe, comment, tell all your friends, tell your family. When you hit the bell, pick all. For now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. I'll speak to you soon.